Hey everyone, I'm the co-director of Universal News Frontier. Pull up a chair because today we're having a real kitchen table conversation about what is arguably the single most important political race in the country right now. We're breaking down the Ohio 2026 Senate special election and specifically the geopolitical economic feedback loop.
The war in the Middle East just sent your gas prices to $4.46, and the man fighting to keep his Senate seat is about to be grilled in a corruption trial only weeks before you vote. I want you to literally let that sink in for a second, because that right there, that's not just a catchy headline. That is the exact, everyday reality for millions of Ohioans as they get ready to head to the polls.
$4.46, yeah. That is the visceral, punch-in-the-gut number staring back at drivers across the Great Lakes right now. It's painful, it's incredibly real, and, here's the thing. While it hits your wallet directly, it also has absolutely massive implications for the future of Washington. We are way past just talking about local politics here. We're talking about a major global crisis completely reshaping a localized election.
So, let's get right into Section 1, Global War, Local Election. Right off the bat, you need to know this race isn't just about filling the seat left vacant when JD Vance became vice president. No, this is a macro-level battle for partisan control of the 20th Congress. Let's impartially break down the rematch defining this whole cycle. On one side, you've got Senator Jon Husted. He was appointed to this seat by Governor DeWine, bringing some deep institutional MAGA backing. He's running what he calls a workhorse strategy, really focusing on tangible legislative outcomes. Then on the other side, we have former Senator Sherrod Brown. He lost his seat back in the 2024 cycle, but he is back, running a dignity of work populist campaign. He's trying to resurrect his traditional blue-collar coalition to push back against Ohio's deep red shift. Both guys are presenting radically different visions for the state and the country.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Section 2, the geopolitical feedback loop. Let's walk through the exact mechanics of this loop together because it brilliantly shows how the world stage directly influences local votes. It's like a giant domino effect. Step 1, the cause. The administration launches Project Freedom to break an Iranian naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. Step 2, the immediate effect. Iran retaliates and Brent crude oil suddenly spikes to $114.90 a barrel. Then we hit Step 3, the political effect. We see a whopping 66% public disapproval rating of the conflict. That creates a massive political vulnerability, and Sherrod Brown is actively leveraging it. Finally, Step 4, the countermeasure. The GOP and Senator Husted respond by aggressively touting hyper-targeted domestic relief, specifically the 2025 Working Families Tax Cut Act, to offset that financial pain at the pump. And let me tell you, that financial pain is steep. We've seen a staggering 41.1% spike in Ohio gas prices since May 2025. Just think about that increase for your own commute. Sherrod Brown is looking right at this number and framing it very directly as the devastating local cost of a costly and illegal war. He's taking global instability and tying it straight to the incumbent's voting record. But look at how Husted counters this. He relies on concrete math. He points out that under the new tax law, a tipped worker making $30,000 saves an estimated $1,462 because of the no tax on tips provision. That's real money back in people's pockets. Meanwhile, Brown shifts the framing entirely. He links Husted to the massive $1.3 billion First Energy scandal. His argument? That Husted is part of a rigged system favoring corrupt executives over Main Street. It's a classic clash of narratives.
Which leads us to a pretty massive shift. Section 3, the union realignment surprise. These competing economic narratives, they are actively dismantling traditional voting blocks. Take a look at this Emerson College polling data, which breaks down exactly what voters care about right now. 44% of Ohioans list the economy as their top issue, and with that group, Husted holds a very comfortable lead. On the flip side, 15% prioritize threats to democracy, and Brown dominates that demographic by overwhelming margins. So the battleground is entirely defined by which issue you prioritize when you're sitting at your kitchen table trying to pay your bills.
And here is what's truly surprising. Something a lot of mainstream coverage is just totally missing. Husted has successfully secured the endorsement of the Cleveland Building and Construction Trades Council. He is actively poaching traditional union endorsements from Northeast Ohio. Now, that area used to be Sherrod Brown's completely impenetrable blue wall. By combining America First trade policies with those targeted tax cuts for hourly workers, Husted is systematically shifting the traditional Democratic base. It's a real game changer.
So what does this actually mean for the future of the race? Let's talk about Section 4, the September slump prediction.
If history is any guide, timing is absolutely everything in politics. We had the primary elections back in May, right? And the general election is coming up in November. But right here, right in the middle, on September 28th, the first energy executive retrial begins. Because of that, I'd expect to see Husted's current 3-point lead completely evaporate into a dead heat. The media cycle is going to heavily focus on his previous, let's call it, uncomfortable testimony. That's going to pull the corruption narrative front and center right before people actually vote.
However, here is the second half of that prediction. Despite the impending scandal coverage, I expect Husted will ultimately win the Mahoning Valley, a region that has historically been an absolute Democratic stronghold. Why? Well, because for the remaining industrial workers there, the no tax on overtime messaging is going to outweigh Brown's anti-corruption rhetoric. When push comes to shove, that immediate economic relief on the paycheck wins out for those workers.
Which brings us to our final point. Section 5, the community loop.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this dilemma. If your gas prices are up 40% because of a war, but your paycheck is taxed less because of a new law, who actually has your back? Is it the populace fighting the rigged system or the workhorse passing the tax cuts? I really want to hear from you on this. Tell me your specific opinion on this exact dilemma down in the comments, and give me your predictions on whether Sherrod Brown or Jon Husted will pull this off in November. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.
An investment in knowledge pays the best interest, so why not invest in this channel? Click like and subscribe for more.